Tuingie viwanjani sasa katika taarifa ambayo tutakuletea moja kwa moja. Shirikisho la soka nchini FKF lilishusha daraja vilabu vya Sofapaka, Muhoroni Youth na Thika United kutoka katika ligi kuu kutokana na kutowiana kwa usajili wao. Vilabu hivi vilikata rufaa. Kikao hicho cha FKF kinatoa uamuzi hivi sasa ambapo Nick Mwendwa anazungumza hivi sasa.
Qualify to be in the Premier League season of 2017. Unfortunately, and therefore Sofapaka will now be given a chance in the National Super League. Moving on to Muhoroni, who had the same case. The ruling was almost similar for Muhoroni and Sofapaka. They were requested once again to resubmit their documents, which they did by end of day yesterday. And again, they did not meet criteria A as required. Criteria A, you've all come to understand that's financial and legal. They did not meet criteria A. But more importantly, as per the ruling, we have again confirmed that even though they have submitted to us documents saying that they have paid their current and former players, we have confirmed from the players themselves that they were not paid. We have confirmed also through a case that is existing today between two players and Muhoroni, that those players were not paid. This case is going on. I think it's a matter that is right now going on in court, I believe, being driven by Elvis Majani. So those two players are not paid. Not only that, I can confirm and I can read for you certain players, Victor Omune, for example, we have names of players presented to us. They have not been paid a certain amount. Not only are we followed what KFO is saying, but we have actually checked with the players and they have submitted to us that they have not been paid, even though we have submissions from both clubs saying that they have paid these players. We have established that they actually did not do so. And therefore, not only are we going to be looking at them not making it in the league, but also looking at possibly further sanctions, which will go to the disciplinary committee of the federation. Now, and so I wanted to state that. So it follows now that as per, before I tell you what is next, as per this minute, we have 16 teams that have qualified. So I move on from there. And as you know, on 26th and 27th of January, we got a ruling from the SDT, as I have said. And part of that ruling reads as follows. This is in the case of 16 teams and 18 teams case that we have, that KPL brought to the tribunal to get a determination of whether the current contract that ends in September 2020 is valid and to understand what we need to do, because they did not agree with 18 while we wanted 18. And so part of it reads as follows. It reads that hold on, I'll read the full, which talks about 18 teams in the KPL season of 2017. Basically, the finance committee met, the two finance committee of both sides met after the tribunal determined that in the 2017 season, we shall have 18 teams in the Premier League. It determined that we needed, as FKF, to pay 36,152,000 shillings in order to cater for the extra costs required to accommodate the two extra teams. That determination was agreed upon and reached upon by the two parties. Through help of the tribunal was chairing these negotiations. And further, that KPL will retain 11.635 million shillings that is due to FKF, both in development fees and license fees due to FKF. And that FKF will pay directly to the KPL the balance of 24,517,000 shillings by 1st of April 2017, in order to ensure that we shall be able to have 18 teams. All right? So based on that, that is what was agreed. And therefore, it is clearly determined that FKF now must produce 24.5 million shillings, and the league shall have 18 teams. Following that, we looked further, and now that we have Thika United, we had to look at the NSL and ask ourselves if by sporting merit and club licensing, the next two clubs qualify. And I can tell you now that Kenya Commercial Bank, KCB, has passed the club licensing criteria today. And as such, because they were fifth in the National Super League, they have qualified to be part of the 2017 Kenya Premier League season. It follows that we also looked at Vihiga United. And a few minutes ago, I also received confirmation from the committee through the declaration and report that Vihiga and KCB are among the 10 clubs in NSL that have met criteria. But for the two, they have been meeting the stringent criteria applied to the Kenya Premier League this season. It follows, therefore, that KCB and Vihiga qualify for the 2017 Premier League season to make the 17th and 18th club, so that this matter of 16 and 18 clubs will now be put to rest from today. All right? So, in a nutshell, is that now we have our 18 clubs. I just want to talk about a few things before you shoot, because I know you will have a lot of things to shoot at me. The appeals committee was very clear in its ruling. The petitioners had to declare that once they resubmit and we check and the committee confirms, that will be the end of the matter. We therefore expect that Sofapaka and Muhoroni will very quickly now, in the next 14 days, apply to be in the National Super League of 2017 season. Their chances are there and they are open. So we expect that they move to that, because that's what our regulations state. Further communication is going out at this minute through the Secretariat. And we've already going to inform KCB and Vihiga, unless they decline, although they cannot decline because they applied for the license, unless they decline, we expect that they shall acknowledge being in the Kenya Premier League season of 2017. I know people will ask about recourse, but as far as our regulations are concerned, once you go to the appeals committee and they pass a ruling, the next place you can go to is the FIFA Court of Arbitration for Sport. So if the two clubs, Sofapaka and Muhoroni, would wish to appeal further, then their recourse only lies with FIFA at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. All right. So I wanted to be clear today so that everybody understands it. And I have documents in front of me that will help me to answer your questions today, so that we are transparent and we are clear, because we are taking severe measures to make sure that we are compliant and we correct the game. As you can see now, the bodies like KEFA are beginning to be serious bodies, because their input and the welfare of players has become a serious issue. And so before I go off, I would like to mention the other 8 clubs so far that I have received from the Club Licensing Committee that make it for the National Super League. And that is Palos FC, Nairobi Steamer, Mosca FC, Police FC, Bidco FC, Talanta FC, Ushuru FC, Nakuru All Stars. So the work is still going on. The committee is still checking. And I believe by end of day today or tomorrow, we shall communicate to you in totality about which clubs have made it for the National Super League license. So it is clear that we are applying criteria across board, as we have said.